Well, a quiet but pretty strange transfer window from our director of football at Kashima Antlers. Not the overhaul we've seen at previous clubs, but perhaps we didn't need it. Crucially, though, we've got a new right back. We've lost our top scorer for big money. We've also been reunited with another former star. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 37 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We return today to begin our fifth full season and our sixth season as a manager in Japan. And we are back for our first full year with Kashima Antlers, starting not with league action, with Asian Champions League second round matches. We're in the last 16 and we've got the same team we finished above in the group with one defeat and one win against them this season. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, what our director of football has done in the transfer window, and what former star we've been reunited with, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It is a little bit of a strange window so far, and we'll see why in a minute, because one of the signings can't overlap with a signing from the summertime. So while it does mean we're going to be deeper as a squad overall, it perhaps doesn't improve our 11 so much. So still the same frailties, not the inspiring windows we've had before. But let's start by having a look at what's been going on, because my word, there's been some money flying about. Only one big player out, only one big player in, but a couple of signings, and one that we knew pre-agreed that predated either myself or the director of football. So let's start with the transfer history, because if we go back to the end of last season, we were reunited with a former player from Yokohama, which of course will weaken them, something I'm not gutted about. But Solomon Sakuragawa is back in. The target man, who is not the best finisher, is an absolute monster in the air. He joins in, and with Tabakovic getting older, I'm not really against this deal as such, but it does mean two of the big signings our director of football has brought in are players that can't play together. Either way, though, we've weakened our former club and we've signed a player who's going to contribute for us, so I'm very happy with that. The other signing was one that we already knew about, a player we had at our disposal last year and had been pre-agreed by the club before myself or the director of football had joined. 3.8 million seems a bit excessive for Tsuyoshi Watanabe, but he has been a good player for us. He is a good defender, and at 31, he's still got a lot to offer, so very happy to have him here still. In terms of the pre-season so far, we've had one more big in and one more huge out, as you can see. The Saudi club's poaching our stars again. But let's start with the man that's come in. Riku Handa for 550 grand. He is basically a replacement for Sakamoto, whose loan expired at right wing back. And it will sort of fit into our style of play because while he is good at crossing the ball, he's still pretty good passing and cutting inside and playing in the midfield type role, which means that we can stick with an inverted one on that side, something that we've enjoyed doing at this club. So good to have a player there. Albeit he's not a standout, he's not a superstar, he is someone who's going to keep us competitive, if nothing else. He's joined by another youngster who is not really worth the mention. He's a good finisher, we'll see if he develops anywhere else. The big news though, is that all of that money spent has been offset by one sale for £6 million potentially, 4.5 up front. Shuto Machino, last season's top scorer, at 28 the best striker at the club. He has moved on now, and he's worth more already. He's getting huge money. He's going to score goals for them. And who knows, we might pop up against him in continental competition in the future. I guess I'm not as devastated by that one because we have got young players coming through who are brilliant. So you look up front at Ishida, for example. At 20, looks like he can be a natural replacement. But Machino offered that physical threat as well. Being 6'2", being a runner, being physical and strong. He had the lot, whereas Ishida is very much just an advanced forward. So we've now gone from having two strikers who are a bit of an all-rounder to two strikers who are very specific in their roles, but will still be pretty good at them. So overall, it's not a huge problem. There was also an offer accepted for Yasuki Matsuo, but he rejected the move away for about 1.5 million. I'm a bit annoyed by that because he's not really good enough for us, doesn't really fit in our style, and has had injury problems. So if we could have got him out for good money, I think we would have been pretty happy with that. As it is though, we're still fairly weak at wing back. We've got Leader back from his loan spell on the left, but again, we're not in a strong position there. And the director of football, he's looking at the squad planner, Seeing that clearly the weakest areas in the team for star rating are both wing-back positions, and he's not doing anything about it. It is a little bit frustrating. Kostic is still here at 35, but of course can't play due to the foreign rulings at times. So let's go and get straight through to the first leg of this new season. The J1 League will start soon. I'm not actually sure where we're expected to finish for that. We were favourites earlier in pre-season, and we still are. Despite the superstar lost, we've got Araki and Zaruki in the team of the year. Not much in attack or defence though, so we're going to have to dominate the games in the middle. Also interesting to note, by the way, if we go and have a look at the board expectations, I mentioned them changing a bit when we were joining the club based on what they'd expected in pre-season, and it almost cost us our job last year. This year I can't explain it because it said a title challenge previously. Now it says we must finish in the top 2 places, so if we miss out by a point but challenge for the title, we'll probably have failed yet again. Does definitely make it a challenge because Kawasaki ran away with it last year, Vissel Kobe did the year before, and neither of them have weakened that significantly. With other clubs getting stronger, we're going to have a good year. Or maybe, if it starts slowly, start looking at jobs in other continents. Let's go and get through to the fixtures, see how we get on today. We're in the last 16 of continental football. Remarkable at this stage of the save. Us and Vissel Kobe flying the flag for Japan. We're both playing against South Korean opposition. We've probably got the luckier draw of the two. So let's see how we get on. Our 11 will be picked. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, here then is what we've gone for today. A side that we've beaten and lost to this year already. And when our first team's been out, we've been the better of the two. So I'm hoping that that will prevail in this one. Our bench is a little bit weak in areas, but we have got the new boy Sakuragawa there. Matsuo missing out and Kostic ineligible because we've got 5 foreign players already. I guess it's possible later in the year if Sakuragawa starts really well and Tabakovic keeps declining that we could end up with Kostic being able to come back in, but by that point he'll have declined so much it'll be worthless because they're both well over the hill. Our 11 in full though is Bergson in goal, Wada, Ademfal and Watanabe the back 3, Handa and Leader the wing backs with Zaruki and Hainan the midfield 2, Araki the number 10 and Tabakovic and Ishida up front. Bit worried about Zaruki because of AFCON, he didn't really get a break. So I'm hoping that his fitness will prevail. I'm hoping he'll be alright. More importantly, I'm hoping he won't leave because the director of football has promised to sell him if we get 5.25 million. He did accept one offer from a random club. I think it was a Qatari one rather than a Saudi one, which he rejected, but there's going to be more on the way, we know it. There's interest from both England and France, and that might prove too much of a lure. Let's go and get through to the first game of the season. Same tactical style, same general setup, and a big game against Daegu. A chance to get through to the last 8 of continental football. If we have a look at the team today, 5 changes for our visitors, but I've no idea where they are in their season. They've got the league loaded, they've got the full squad, but they've not got a manager at the minute, which seems a little bit odd. Dino Islamovic up front, he definitely scored last time we played. We've got a few players complacent, which is a big worry. Let's tell the lads to make sure they do the job. I'll be very upset if they blow this opportunity. Maybe going a goal down is what they need. Whisper it quietly. Vissel Kobe ahead, the other Japanese side. Can we join them with it? Apparently we've had no shots despite dominating the ball. Let's encourage, get a bit more out of them. If they don't respond to that after starting the game complacent, we'll then start throwing a kitchen sink at the team. As Hainan gets it to Leader and now Zaruki. He goes through towards Araki, that might be off as well. Back across the box is cleared away anyway. Only as far as a Dempfal. They really are backs to the wall here, our visitors. Maybe that's just because it's the away leg. Watanabe to Zaruki. 1-2 with Ishida. Gets it again. Ishida in. Great spin, great finish. Machino who? Great director of football. Sell your man for 6 million. Produce the young talent instead. And we go 1-0 up with 23 minutes gone. We've probably just about deserved that so far. Well, 5 minutes to the break. The game's quietened down. I'd probably like a lead of more than 1 based on how it's gone so far this season. We've not always been the best at the back and we've not always been the best away from home. But you can see from the performances that generally we are playing pretty well. I'll try and give the lads a bit of praise. See if we get a positive reaction. We do. But are we going to get another goal? If we can get 2 up, we can start pushing. Tabakovic has been the weak link, so maybe Sakuragawa can be the hero as Hainan gets in at the edge of the box. I mean, even the way he lined up to that shot never looked like hitting a target. Let's get the new target man on. Sakuragawa, your time to shine. You're on up front for the last half an hour. You're getting your run in continental football as Vissel Kobe go 2 up. Now we need to avoid mistakes at the back as a Dempfal plays out to Araki and Sakuragawa. On his debut, back to Watanabe in defence. And again, no real pressure on us in our own half as Hayden gives it away, gets very fortunate, and now we've given it away again, but lead up, fights hard to win it on the left, cuts inside and looks for Ishida. He's been very good so far, to Zaruki. No width on the right, of course, so Zaruki can go on a run, puts in the ball towards Sakuragawa. Oh, I was celebrating already. I saw him score so many of those for Yokohama. This time maybe it's nerves, but he hits the post as Leader gets down the left again. Ball across the box is blocked, and it somehow stays 1-0. It's been a really good performance this, but we've got to get the second goal. Zaruki finds Handa. The new boy on the right, he's had a solid game. Whips in a big ball towards Araki. And it's good goalkeeping by Park. A little bit of an annoying game this, because you just feel this is going to cost us when we go away from home if we don't manage to get another goal or two. As a Dempfal picks the ball up at the back. Even our defensive line, it's just sitting on halfway retrieving the ball. There's no threat on our goal whatsoever. But we've got to make it count. They're now playing for a 1-0 and so far they're getting it. As a Dempfal finds Handa. Zaruki up to Ishida. Inside him is Sakuragawa. There's a way to mark your arrival. Failed with his head from 4 yards with an open goal. But with a goalkeeper from 25, an absolute rocket. It goes in the far top corner. 2-0 to Kashima, a dominant display. No less than we deserve. Who can we bring on now? We're going to go for, I think, Mitoma at right wing back for Handa after his debut. And again, a natural midfielder cutting in might make more sense. Leader struggling physically, so we'll go for Takahashi. Hainan's not had the best game in a holding role and is building his fitness, so Yasuda will come on there. And I'll give it another 5 minutes before making the last sub. I want to get Suzuki, the striker, on. But Zaruki is struggling physically. So I might have to make a decision there. But now they're all struggling. I'm going to go Ishida off for Suzuki. Final 5 minutes. And the club legend, homegrown at the club, still here at 32. He's the man in as Zaruki takes a corner. Can we get a late third? It would surely put the tie beyond doubt. Even when they beat us against our reserves, it was narrowly. As Zaruki's hit the post as well. How many times are we going to hit the woodwork? Come on. We're going to cancel that friendly at the weekend because we need everyone fit. It's a dominant and deserved 2-0 victory. The 4 minutes of stoppage time are up. Can we make sure we don't make a mistake here, please? Zaruki to Wader. The fact we're still playing, are we going to get one more chance? Mitoma finds Suzuki. He stays wide this time, the wing back. Suzuki goes alone. Big ball in. Up goes Araki. Up goes Sakuragawa. Over the bar. 2-0 it remains. A very good performance. But we're going to face stronger opposition than this if we get through. And surely they'll give us a better game away from home. A very good result nonetheless, though. We'll be back in a minute for the second leg, where hopefully we can book our place in the last 8. Well, put your hands up if you've had a very frustrating week between the 2 legs of this Champions League tie. Definitely me, because if we see what's been going on, it has been the start of an exodus in terms of players, both hot prospects and players involved in the squad. We've got a new assistant manager who weakens a rival but isn't that good. And we've also got an injury to our new target man, who will not play in the second leg today. He's got the flu. So let's go and have a look at the transfer screen, because this week we have had 4 offers accepted for other players, 1 leave, and you can see the star among them is Nico Takahashi. Played a lot of last season as the left wing back. Yes, we've got Leader back from his loan now, but with the problem with Kostic, who can't play in most games because of the foreign rules, he is our only other backup option. And Takahashi has had an offer accepted for 300 grand by Yokohama FM. So unless there's a replacement planned here, we're in a spot of bother, I can promise you that. We've also lost a backup right wing back in Daegu Watanabe, an offer of 350 grand accepted there. Again, not a big problem to lose these players because they're not that good. But if there's not replacements, as we saw last summer, it can be a big strain on the squad. The most frustrating one though is Genki Ishii, who in fairness was throwing his toys out the pram, but 700 grand for a young player who had massive potential. was already pretty good and on the cusp of the squad. Just seems a little bit annoying, I've got to be honest, particularly with Zaruki potentially on his way out too. So this is not a good week for the club in terms of all those players. We also had one leave called Ryoga Ito. He's a youngster who's gone to FC Tokyo, but his potential wasn't quite so great, albeit it was an okay player. And let me show you the new assistant manager, who, pretty average I would say. He is Tatsuya Yamashita, in from FC Tokyo. He's alright. I'm probably being a bit harsh on him, but I expected someone a bit better. He's still young though, he's got room to improve, good coaching qualifications, good reputation. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. Either way, we should be favourites to get through this tie, but we are going to need some squad improvements because this squad is not going to cut it in the long term, and we're starting to run out a little bit here. So if we go and get through to the team selection, we're going to go with the same 11. I was going to bring Sakuragawa in, but of course he's now fallen ill. So onto the bench will go probably Matsuo, who's not fit, because Kostic can't go in there. We've already got the 5 foreign players. And overall, that leaves us a little bit light because we've only got one sub when it comes to the striker role. I'll tell you the other thing I'm going to do actually, and it's a bit of a gamble. I don't know whether to do it. I was going to bring Takahashi in, save leader for the weekend, because Takahashi will probably be gone from the club. But then, given the foreign rules, we could probably pay Kostic then, couldn't we? Or will I need him on the right? I'm going to bring Takahashi in. It's a bit of a gamble, but it's a decision I feel is worthwhile. So here's the only sub from the last game. Replaces leader because he's basically about to be sold. We want to preserve fitness for our first league game, which is in 2.5 days' time. We've also got 2 games a week for most of the first 6 weeks, despite the fact we've not even got our Champions League fixtures scheduled yet. So let's go and get through to the game in this one. It's going to be tricky, isn't it? Away from home, you would expect a bit more of a test from Daegu, and at 2-0 down, surely they'll go more aggressive. But hopefully there's positives to follow. They've made 3 changes, we've made the 1, and now we've got to try and beat them. Hainan, you're complacent. You're supposed to be an experienced player, showing the squad how to behave. And we go to icy conditions, you're letting us down. Let's see how we get on. Oh my God. You could not write it. You could not write the script for this. Nico Takahashi off after 74 seconds injured. Just ridiculous. What a waste of a change that was. Go and get off to whatever club you're at and don't fail your medical now, please. 7 minutes gone. Daegu have got the corner. You just feel what's coming here, don't you? Unmarked man at the back post. Tabakovic heads away, but Barcelos brings it down. In he goes, completely unopposed. Good save, Bergson. Not a good start to this game. Injury to the only player we brought in. And the first good couple of chances are going to our hosts, who... This is why I wanted to get 3 or 4 in the first leg, because we knew it was going to get tight. It was going to get cagey. And they were going to be front-footed in the home leg. As Tabakovic finds Hainan. Can we nick the goal? Ishida goes for the shot. It's over. I tell you the one thing I don't know here as well, which we're going to have to look at. Does this competition run on away goals? Because we know the Champions League in Europe changed. What happens here? Second leg match rules. Away goals used if scores are level after 90 minutes. Right, okay. So if we can score a goal here, we then can get through as long as we don't concede 4, which has to be a consideration. Hainan and Ademphal playing a 1-2. We are growing into this a bit. Tabakovic been injured a lot of pre-season. We need to build his fitness and form. As Ishida gets it from Zaruki. Finds Araki. And there is the away goal we wanted. One of the homegrown stars that stuck with the club. And at 3-0 in a tie, but crucially with that away goal, we now get through as long as we don't concede 4. Surely we won't. Surely. As Hand Up finds Hainan again. To Watanabe. If anything, hopefully we'll break their spirit and now go and crush them. Because we'd like to rest people later on in this game with the big league one at the weekend. We've got to finish in the top 2 there. And that pressure means we need people fit. As Tabakovic finds leader. Into the striker again, but it's going backwards to Watanabe. He chips forward to leader on the left, the sub. Into Araki and over. I'm not going to criticise him too much because he scored a very important goal here. Vissel Kobe are going through comfortably as well. They're 2 up on the night already. But can we get another goal? So then in the second half, the likes of Zaruki, Araki, those key players in our team can just have half an hour off. That would be lovely. At the moment, We are starting to gain control of this tie again. And the Dempfelt has got the ball in the centre circle. Big switch to leader. He carries down the line. Again, not much pressure on him. Puts the ball into Tabakovic. Not the greatest effort, that. I found he's not been brilliant with his feet at all since we've been here. And that one was easily saved as Zaruki's got the corner. Should be better with his head at the back post. But the corner doesn't reach him. Park again claims well. Done that pretty well generally in this tie. As we reach half time, we're starting to turn the screw on the stats. And to be honest, it looks inevitable that we will reach the last 8, which is a cracking effort. We've dominated the ball, we've played well. If it wasn't for that early injury and the save from Bergson, I'd consider this the perfect night. Right then, there's 25 minutes to go. We're 3 up on aggregate. We've got to avoid conceding 4, which we should do. I'm going to start resting people for the weekend. Tabakovic, I would have played because we know Sakuragawa could come in. Ishida, though, is probably the one I've got to protect now. No, I'm going to bring Suzuki on for Tabakovic. Araki, your fitness is good, isn't it? We're just trying to work through and get the weaker ones out. I'm going to give both Zaruki and Hainen a rest. They're going to be replaced by Yasuda in midfield. And if I'm not taking Handa off, I can probably go Mitoma, who's a better fit than Agawa in there. And then the final one, I am going to make a change in the defence, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. Watanabe is the man I want to bring off. Toyoda ideally would come on because he's the one who's younger and homegrown, needs the football, and he will now come on for Watanabe. We've got 15 minutes to go. Surely we can't concede 4 now. There's a big ball in from Daegu, headed over. Happy with that. If we can restrict them to headers from the edge of the box and long-range shots, we've done our bit as Bergson goes long. Forward towards the midfielders, but it's won by Daegu again. You can see the subs have definitely affected our fluency. Good challenge from Wader, but it falls for Barcelos. He's shown magic so far. Gu with a shot. That's a brilliant goal. Where has that come from? No backlift at all. It says disappointed to be beaten at his near post, but he can't have even expected the shot there. The problem is if they score another now, it might start to get a little bit hairy towards the end. So we just want to get a bit of control back as Yasuda finds Mitoma. Up to Ishida. The partnership we started with in our first game is reunited. And Suzuki has picked up the ball here. Good squad player to have. Finds leader on the left. Support in the middle if he can find the cross. Does just that, but it's cleared away. And now they can break again, Daegu. It's not looking good. Park gets it on the right. Good through ball. Ademfal does well. He's picked up a yellow, which is a worry for the quarters, as Yasuda, in the holding role, finds Mitoma. It's up towards Araki. 10 minutes to go, it's surely job done. But can we put gloss on it? Ishida puts Suzuki in. What a moment for him. Playing in the Asian Champions League into his 30s. He's been at the club bar a little hiatus for his whole career. And he scored the goal to seal our passage through. As we're going to make it very comfortably. Daegu will now need 5. And they're not going to get that. As we nearly give the ball away in the middle. But Toyoda the youngster reacts well. Finds leader. Goes inside. Great move. Great goal. And now Daegu are chasing the game. We're finding gaps. We're carving them open. And with 5 to go, it's 3-1 on the night. It's 5-1 on aggregate. Ademfal's lucky not to give away a penalty there. But we are very, very happy with this display. 4.5 years into a head coach save. And we're in the last 8 of a continental competition. It is a mad turn of events from where we were in the last few FMs and ever in this save. As Wader gets the ball up to Handa. He finds Wader again. Lovely football. Back to Ademfal. Composed, keeping it well. Youngsters on the pitch as well. Toyoda finds Hanya. Up to Mitoma. Oh my word, where's that come from? What a strike from Fujio Mitoma. Very rare he gets to play in his preferred position. But now Handa's in, he'll do it a bit more. And if he scores goals like that, Zaruki won't be a miss when he's out next time. 4-1 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. Vissel Kobe through for Japan as well. But now we need to know who we're facing in the next round, where I presume it's no longer split by East and West. Waniko Takahashi is out for 2 weeks. We've got 120 grand in, plus whatever we got on the gate for that first leg. And now we wait for the draw on Friday to find out who we're facing. Let's go and get ahead to that before looking at the schedule. I think the latter stages of the Champions League probably going to have to be the focus now. Well, we've met the board objective by reaching the latter stages of the quarterfinal. But who are we going to be facing? Let's view the draw and see who we're up against. No glitz and glamour with this one. There are, what, 3 Saudi clubs, 2 Japanese, 2 Thai, and 1 from the UAE. Who is it going to be? We've got a Thai club port out first, and it's Kashima Antlers who will face them. How big are they? Because the Thai league obviously is not loaded in game. They're a 2.5-star reputation club. Their key player is this guy. Wow, he's pretty good. I would say he's on a par with our first team midfielders. He's a Thai international. He's played for Hammarby in Sweden, so he's got experience of European continental football. They got any other real players in there? 31-year-old right back. Let's have a look at him. Well, pretty similar to our right back because it's our weak position as well. Just want to see the standard of some of the greyed out players. They're okay. I wouldn't say they're standout players. They're probably just below our level, if we're being honest. So in terms of the draws we could have got, it's absolutely exceptional, isn't it? Is it still split by East and West? It must be, because the 2 Thai clubs are playing against the 2 Japanese, and the UAE club and the Saudi clubs have all been paired together. So maybe it's still separated by East and West. You'll have to let me know in the comments, but that's a fantastic draw either way. And what does it mean for the semi-final? We draw that one. Are we coming up against them? Yes, we are. So maybe it's split all the way to the final. If we get through, let's be honest, we're probably going to be facing Vissel Kobe in a tight tie for a place in the final. But I'd argue this is easier than our last 16 draw on paper. And it's definitely a big opportunity. It does mean the schedule gets even more packed now because we've got 2 games a week every week. But I think we're going to come back for the second leg of that Champions League tie. And we'll also do the game before against Vissel Kobe because let's be honest about it, that's going to be a big one in the title race. The 2 favourites going head to head. If you're looking forward to seeing how we get on and whether or not we can make Champions League history, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performances against Daegu, the director of football's performance in a transfer window so far. And do you think we can live up to the board expectation and the media expectation of being one of the favourites for the J1 League? April already looks pretty murderous in terms of schedule, and our director of football is trying to sell all the depth at the club. So we're going to need signings if it's going to go well. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we get them, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time as we head in to another big Champions League game. We'll also have a big top of the table clash, or what should be on paper, which may also end up being a dress rehearsal for the Champions League semi-final if both Japanese clubs do well. Hopefully we'll have some more signings rather than just loads of sales, but we'll find that out in a couple of days' time. Between now and then though, we'll be back with Southend tomorrow. We had deadline day yesterday in that one, and you can find the latest season up in the eye above if you've missed it. There's also links there to the Twitch channel and the football podcast too. If you're in the UK, do check out our latest partnership deal down in the description below. But thank you very much for your support as always. It is greatly appreciated. We're in dreamland. We're latter stages of the Champions League. It's not something we expected at this stage of the save. Let's see next time if we can progress further.